Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am so excited for my next guest. We haven't seen each other, it seems like, in forever. We met on Clubhouse and we used to be together every day, pretty much on different stages, talking about business, insights, marketing, how to stand out, email lists, all those type of things. And I'm sure we'll get into that conversation here in the interview. But before we get started, I want to introduce you to Branden. I want you to hear a little bit about him and what makes him such an expert when it comes to marketing, because he definitely can run circles around so many people that I've seen in Clubhouse with his knowledge and wisdom. I'm just amazed every time I hear him on stage. So, Branden, we want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me today. So I'm Branden, CEO of Branding by Branden. We are a full service branding and marketing agency. I've been in the marketing space for a little over 13 years. And the thing that sets me apart from other marketers and the reason why I am quote unquote running circles around them is because I don't talk a lot of theory. I actually own multiple consumer goods brands. So the things that I say are things that I'm putting into action every day in my own businesses or businesses that I have owned in the past. So it's a lot of practical things that people can relate to because they can implement it right now. As they're talking, I understand where they are in their journey because I've been there in my journey. And so I'm just drawing from my personal experiences of what has worked for me and what got me out of those sticky situations and got me to the other side to be able to help them get to the other side. And then I cut through a lot of the business jargon, and I say it so you can understand it. You know, sometimes we get so caught up on wanting to flex our knowledge on acronyms and beautiful words. And yes, we can have those conversations with those, but sometimes you need to meet people where they are, and that is what I look to do in terms of setting myself apart. And so that is who I am.
I love it. And I called you Brendan. That's my
It
oldest
happens. It's
son's
been a
name.
long day.
Look, that's my oldest son. So I'm like, well, you're just part of the family because I call my kids each other all the time. So, so we just want
My
to get
mother
that
does
out
that as
there
well.
because they're
So
like, wait a minute, that's America's Supermom. Is she having dementia or something? But yeah, but I love your confidence because so many people get on Clubhouse stages and they just have this air of saying what seems like stuff they got off of the internet and not really having that knowledge. But there's that confidence that exudes from you anytime you get on a stage, and it is just so powerful. So, for people that are watching and, they're trying to get on stages and maybe they feel well versed, but they don't feel well known, what advice would you give them about really stepping into their power when it comes to what they know?
if you're looking to be on stages and stand out, it's not always what you know, it's sometimes what you ask. And that
Mhm.
gives you opportunity to really flex your muscle. And when I started on Clubhouse, there was a lot of large stages. It wasn't about me asking questions. I don't feel like it's not that I don't feel like I can't learn more because I'm always learning. I'm an avid learner.
Mhm.
But for me, it was let me show you how my brain really works by asking thought provoking questions. Not the
Mhm.
questions how to do this, how to do that, but what are your thoughts about this? This is what I see coming. This is what I'm looking at coming down the pipeline that's coming like a Mack truck, and no one's talking about it.
Mhm.
We're in the midst of a pandemic, and in the online space, can we talk about how all the big brands are now coming online and what that actually means for small business owners? And when I say they're actually coming online, it's not that they didn't have accounts, they just were not using them to the best of their ability. And because all of their brick and mortar stores have closed down because of the pandemic, they've really put a focus on advertising and actually collecting the online dollar. You have big brands
Mhm.
like Disney advertising and who's spending money on online marketing who hasn't had to do that in years past. So let's talk thought provoking about that kind of stuff. And that's what sets me apart amongst the group. I'm thinking ahead of the time. And so when I can do that, that is how I can show that I'm worthy of being next to the best of the best. And then when it comes time to answer the simpler questions, it's easy to call on me because you've already seen how my brain works. And you know, if I am thinking on this wavelength, then I should be able to assist on these lower frequencies.
I just love how you say it. Okay. I mean, it is just hilarious to see you in action, you know. So talk to us about, you know, if someone asks you if you do anything free on Clubhouse. I just want to hear them hear you say this answer.
Nothing for free. You put a price tag on yourself, and it's so funny because I think when I make that statement, I shock a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I say it with all understanding that I know I'm doing Clubhouse for free. And so when I say it, when I talk to my clients, you know, I don't really go into it on Clubhouse. I just say it very blatantly on Clubhouse with a choice word, no free stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so, but the truth of the matter is, I'm on Clubhouse and I'm talking and I'm giving away free.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, Clubhouse is my discovery call. People are discovering me. They're just discovering me on larger scale. It's 20 people in the room, it's 30 people in the room, there's hundreds of people in the room. They're getting the opportunity to do a discovery with me right then and there. So I don't need go in after that and give you a lot of other free stuff because you saw something that sparked you in that moment. You heard something that sparked you in that moment. You discovered who Branden is. Then you can go look at my page. You can go to my website because I don't have a lot on my social accounts. You can go to my website and you can read what services we offer. And now you're discovering more about us. At that
Mm-hmm.
point, you know if I'm a fit for you. And so don't ask me in my messages more questions. I'm not going to answer those because at this point, you're just now trying to get as much as you can without compensating me for my knowledge. And I've put a lot of time and effort into learning the knowledge and skill set that I have. And I'm okay with putting a price tag on it. And it sets me apart from others because everyone has a lot of free and everyone wants to talk about, well, this is free, this is free, I'm giving so much free value. And my free stuff is light years ahead of everyone else's free stuff that I
Mm-hmm.
tell everybody, if you like the free that I give, meaning you like me on Clubhouse, imagine what being in a paid session is going to be. And that's my power. I won't
Mm-hmm.
answer surface level. I rarely give surface level answers. That's not my thing. What does
Mm-hmm.
that serve someone? So it's kind of like people um, breaking off a little piece of the muffin and handing you a little bit and saying you should be full. No, I'm going to give you the muffin. And then when you come back for something to wash it down, bring your credit card with you.
I love it. And I mean, that is so true. And I think that's the thing that helps you rise above the noise because there are so many people that can get on a stage, so many people that can engage with the audience. But are you able to deliver on these things that you're saying on the stage? And there's just this confidence. I mean, people just need to see you in action. I just love it every time that we're on a stage together. I mean, really. But, you know, I love it because you back it up with the knowledge, right? You have the examples, you have the experience. It's like, it's just, it's like art watching. So I just love it. So, building community, you know, we met kind of like around, you know, community, having that regular routine, things that you do on Clubhouse, kind of the people that you moderate with. Talk to people about how they can kind of grow a following on Clubhouse.
You know, it's interesting because I've never been a grow following person. I've always been a nurture person. And as people ask still to this day on Clubhouse, how can they grow their following? I always ask the same question: why? Why do you want to grow your following? What are you going to do with it? And so I won't tell people how to grow a following anywhere. What I'll ask them is if you have a certain amount of people following you already, have they brought into whatever you're doing? Have they made a purchase with you? If not, focus on them. Stop worrying about more people. If you have 5,000 people following you currently and they're not buying from you, you don't know what to do with 5,000 people. Why would I teach you how to have 10,000 people? So we get caught up on the number, and that's the
Mhm.
noise. That's if you can break through and say, "Oh, I don't need to have 1 million followers because that's just a vanity number. I have 1,000 people that are buying from me every month, and I can sustain my business and I can grow my business to X amount of thousands of dollars to get me to another tax bracket and live a different life." Then focus on that. Don't get so caught up on I want more followers so someone else can look at my page and say you must be accomplished because you have a lot of followers. The followers will come if you're doing the work.
I love that. That is so true. And I mean, these are some of the nuggets that really people, that information is out there on those clubhouse stages, but it's few and far between because there are people that are searching for that quick fix. It's like, oh, I have them in the room and I could ask them anything, but it's all about the same thing, the competition rather than collaboration, or really learning how to go deeper in your own business in order to continue to level up. So I love that you brought that up. That is so true.
Yes, you have to think of this as a business, as a long-term
Mhm,
thing.
mhm,
If we think over time of what however old you are, you think about the businesses that have stood the test of time. You ask yourself, do you want to be a business that have stood the test of time? And so I always speak to my audience, and I use fashion a lot because I know a lot in that space. And so I ask them all the time, do you want to be, and no disrespect to anyone, do you want to be Rockaware and Sean John, or do you want to be Ralph Lauren? Do you want to be the fashion of the moment, or do you want to sustain and be here
mhm,
generations after generations? Ralph Lauren was big when my parents were growing up. It was big when I was growing up. It's big now. Rockaware was big when I was growing up. It's in Ross now. Like,
so true.
so that's my take on it. My business 13 years in. I want my business, if I choose to continue this journey, to have another 13 years. And so
Mhm.
I'm always thinking of how do I keep this ball rolling? Because if the ball keeps rolling, it's like a snowball. It's just going to get more and more power behind it. And it's going to be harder to stop. And that's what I
Love that because Clubhouse is just one of those things that are just popping up for the time. So how do you manage to maintain and navigate through some of the new things that come up while still scaling and keeping your futuristic goals in mind, not getting caught up in the, temporary of what Clubhouse may be right now, if that makes sense.
having a plan and a system in place. Clubhouse has been amazing for me, and I was just talking to someone this weekend, and we were talking someone very intimate. We were having a good conversation about how I've been able to do what I've been able to do on Clubhouse. And I tell them it's because I literally was doing it on another platform. Then
Mm,
the Clubhouse inside my strategy. I'm doing what I do before Clubhouse. And that's no disrespect to people who created their business centered around Clubhouse. There's people teaching courses on Clubhouse. Hats off to them. What I've been doing, I can whether Clubhouse stay or leave. The only thing Clubhouse did was magnify my voice. Whereas on other platforms, I had to cut through the noise because it was a vanity thing where it
mhm.
was, oh, they already have millions of followers who are following them, so they must be legit. You're not really active. Are you legit? And so I focused directly on who I was focusing on. But when the pandemic hit, I had already started making a shift saying that I wanted to work with small business owners. And so
Mhm.
in 2020, before ever coming onto Clubhouse, I had already worked with over 100 small businesses directly. not to mention the countless who were gleaning knowledge from me being in Facebook groups and holding conversation on those platforms openly. I'm in certain groups with over 1 million people in it. I know I'm doing the work and it was working for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to Clubhouse, it was okay, let's figure out what this is. And I took a day and I learned the lay of the land. And then I said, hold on, we're all starting very similar points. There are certain people who have these massive followings already on here. But the truth of the matter is, most of the people that I'm seeing every day on the platform, they have 100, 200 followers. We're on an even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is create an engaging conversation and be able to hold the conversation. And that was my MO. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
create an engaging conversation and hold it. And so I was hosting rooms, lots of rooms, because I don't host a lot of rooms now. I go support other people. And that goes back to that community building. It's not that I'm building into my community, I'm helping other people build their community so that I can lean on them if I need them. If we go
Yeah.
to another platform and someone else takes off, they'll know who I am. You have a platform here because we've shared a stage and we've made a connection. You've invited me to your platform. I don't need to
Mhm.
create my own platform. There's so many people who have platforms that I can go to and I can enjoy time in their community and then I can come back.
So true. I love that. And I mean, that is really what marketing is about. Distribution, location, location. I mean, it's just different ways of looking at it. So I love that. That is so true. So you have some new lines of your clothing that you have. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I co-own a men's underwear company, and we've evolved. We're evolving constantly, and so we started coming up on 8 years ago next month. Wow.
Hmm.
And so they actually were a client of mine, to be totally honest.
Oh.
Um, they started as a client of Branding by Brandon, and then in the CEO, Cisco, we became friends. And
Hmm.
then there was an opportunity for me to come on as a partner, maybe like a year in. And we've just been rocking it ever since. And so with the pandemic and everything, we've made some shifts. And in the evolution of the brand, it's more refined. We still have underwear as our core items, but we've dibbled and dabbled into other products, travel accessories, swimwear, things of that nature. And we're just continuing to evolve and lifestyle brand. And we're constantly doing research and testing the market as we constantly get asked, where's the women line? Where's the women line? Because it's a sustainable company and all of our underwear are made out of bamboo, but all our products are made out of eco-friendly material.
Love
Not
that.
90% of our company is all eco-friendly. Where we can be at with eco-friendly, we are. So we have like biodegradable shells for our travel bags. We use recycled cardboard for our packaging, vegan glue, things of that nature. So we're really focused on making sure that we do our part in the world of fashion, as fashion is the second most polluting good in the world.
Mm, that is interesting. So that is awesome. Now, are you vegan?
I am not.
Okay. But hey,
I
that's
am not.
still eco-friendly. I'm
I'm not.
vegetarian. So yeah,
Okay.
I still have
Um,
my eggs and cheese.
I've started to eat more organic. And it's funny because I'm such a meat eater, but I'm
Mhm.
such a conscious meat eater. Like I bake my chicken. I don't eat fried chicken. Like
Mhm.
I ordered fried chicken this weekend at a restaurant, and I literally had 2 bites, and I was like, okay, I'm done with that.
Mhm.
So even though I'm not vegan, I'm still conscious of how I prepare my food. I try to eat organic fruits and vegetables at home and things of that nature.
So you
Just get
really do a
more.
lot of cooking then.
I do. I eat at home mostly.
That's
I
good.
as much as I eat out because people love my social media page because I share like me eating and I know all the great restaurants. So I do eat out a lot, but I still cook. Like breakfast and lunch, 9 times out of 10 is cooked at home, and
Mm.
I'll go out for dinner or I'll have leftovers from something I cooked the day before.
That's good. All right. Just so organized. I love it. And I love how you had this transition from a client to now a business partner. So for people that are watching and they're kind of like on the fence about that kind of thing, how did you really nurture that relationship? And once it was nurtured, how did you know to take it a step further when it comes to being a partner?
For us, we had moments where fire was to the feet.
Mm,
And for me, um, loyalty is something that I look for in my friends. Um,
mm,
and so I always tell people I'm cut from a different cloth.
mm-hmm,
Value loyalty. I value my ships, friendships, relationships. I value my ships. And so as work and we would travel, we got to know each other more intimately.
mm-hmm,
There was these moments along the way where we would talk and connect, and it wasn't all business. It was, I like you as a person. We're laughing often. I'm seeing the vulnerability. I'm understanding where this passion came from.
mm-hmm,
The space was interesting because 2 years prior, I was planning on going into this space already. So I
mm,
had a wealth of knowledge on the space. So being in the space was something that I wanted to do. And so working with this client helped, fulfill that. And then when the opportunity came, it was very interesting because I remember when we were negotiating terms. At the time, my business partner's daughter, I think she was 15, and a stipulation that I put in the contract that he had to give up part of his after we had decided what our procedures were going to be.
mm-hmm.
He had to cut some of his, and I cut some of mine, and I wanted to give it to his daughter when she was ready. Because yeah, you can go to college, but I know that practical being involved in business in real time, what that can do. I think
Mhm,
that moment in that negotiation was when he saw what I meant when I said be loyal. And I love loyalty and I'm going to be loyal. And so as we went through this journey over the past 8 years, there hasn't been a glimpse of anything less than loyal to me, loyal to the brand. There hasn't been any glimpse for him for anything outside of loyal to him and loyal to the brand. And so that is why I tell people I'm very selective with my friendships and my ships in
mhm.
general, because I want to be all in. I'm going to have a ship with you. I want to be able to give you my all. And so that is what has helped us. And as people are talking about, oh, I had a partnership and it didn't go well, what I always tell them is to figure out what kind of ship it is before you go into it.
So true. And, we're back to this whole thing too of asking the right questions,
Yes.
because so often we're afraid to ask those questions. And so many people just think about the money, and the money is temporary. I mean, if you're driven by the money, you really got to dig deeper and say, okay, well, if it is about the money, how are they going to respond with or without money? What kind of questions you need to ask them about their mindset and compromising and things that they may be challenged with if the money's not around, you know?
Yes. Two things I say about money. The first thing I tell everyone is money's recyclable. As long as you're still here, you can get some of the recycle that's going around. It's free flowing.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is money's a measuring tool. It's just we're playing the game, and money is how you measure whether or not you're doing well or barely getting by. That's all it is. Don't put too much weight into money, but you
Mm-hmm.
measure.
So true.
At the core of it, are you having fun? Are you really building solid connections? Are you making an impact? Whatever that looks like. Are you
Mm-hmm.
being edified? Are you learning something new? Those are the things that hold the weight. Money's the measuring tool. And if you're doing all of those other things, you'll get so much more out of life that when the money comes, it doesn't cloud your judgment. You hear people say you got money and changed. They wasn't getting enough riches from other
Mm-hmm.
places in their life. It can all be gone tomorrow and I'll still be rich.
So
All the
true.
money will be gone tomorrow and I'll still be rich because it's a measuring tool. Will I be defeated in that moment? Yes, because I lost the game. But now
Hmm.
it's time to reset the game and start afresh because money's recyclable. There'll be more money coming on my board as I go around the game board again. And that's all it is.
Love that. Now, so you need to start a mentoring program for the youth. I'm just saying, okay?
I,
Because you have that no nonsense approach that will get some of these hard-headed kids' attention. Okay, I'm just saying. But I think you
I
would be good
speak
with
at a
that.
lot of I speak at a lot of high schools. And interesting enough, and I haven't shared this on a clubhouse stage, so this is going to be
Hmm.
interesting. I speak at a lot of alternative schools because growing up,
Hmm.
I attended an alternative school. I was a hard hit kid that got in trouble and was suspended and was fighting and carrying on.
Hmm.
So I speak at schools like that quite often here in the LA County area um, because I can relate. I know
Yeah.
what it is. And I cut
Hmm.
through the politically correct bull crap of you
Hmm.
need to go to college, you need to get on. No, that's not the case. That works for some, but the truth of the matter is, and I when I do my speech at Career Day every year, I
Hmm.
always say, let's be honest here. You couldn't make it in regular school. You're in alternative school. What's going to change that make you're going to be able to make it in college? Stop and really look at it. Are we ready for that shift yet? If not, don't sign those papers. And everyone sitting behind here at their tables, they don't want to hear me say this, but they know that someone needs to say this to you. And
So
a
true.
lot of them wish someone would have said it to them. And there's so much more we can do in life, especially in this day and age, where you don't have to jump into a lot of debt because the system has been built to tell you you have to go to college. The system isn't built for us. So I
Right.
have that conversation quite often with the students, minority students, because
Hmm.
that's who I'm really leaning into when I say that. It's not
Hmm.
built for us. And, it's not that we can't navigate it because, we have the power to navigate it just like anyone else, but it's not built for us. If it's not built for us, it's almost kind of saying that I'm 300 pounds and I'm trying to fit on something that weight capacity is 60 pounds. It's not for me. At some
Yeah.
point, it's going to crumble, but there may be a way for me to get around it. That's what you have to think about. How do I get around this system? And there's
Hmm.
ways to do that and still thrive and come out on top of the system.
Yeah. Totally agree with that because I went through my depression and my whole thing is unlearning a lot of things that I thought were what served me and they don't serve you. You can look up and be like, "Now wait a minute, why am I believing this? Why am I saying this? Because this is not getting me the outcome that I have been quote unquote told that is part of this American dream." And I'm looking around and hey, this just isn't working. So I love it because, you just have this air of being like what you said. You ask the right questions to really get to the heart of the matter. And the thing about it that I like about you is you ask people the questions to get the truth out of them, but then you're patient and caring to tell them the truth. See, that's the difference. You have a lot of people that get on those stages and they just cut people down, but you will take the time to make sure that they completely understand, but and that's the way you have to be. I mean, everybody kind of has their own approach. And I think it's so great coming from a male's perspective that you have to get people's attention. You got to just sometimes you have to smack people in order for them to just stop
You,
going on
you
and on.
know,
You know what I mean?
I tell people because people say often that they like my approach and I say what
Mhm.
they wanted to say. And I say this quite often. There's over 10 million people on Clubhouse.
Mhm.
I'm memorable because I'm not saying it the way everyone else is saying it.
Mhm.
And sometimes you have to dare to be different,
Yeah.
and no matter how hard, what I always say on stages is no matter how hard this is to hear, when you wash your hair in the shower tonight, you're gonna say, God dog it, Branden was right. Makes sense. I didn't want to hear it, but it was right. And as much because I know sometimes to hear, especially for a business owner who's passionate about their business, to
Yeah.
hear that it's crap is hard. Need
Mm-hmm.
need to hear it. Everyone can't be around you constantly pacifying you, telling you, "Oh, you're doing great. All you got to do is tweak it." No, you got to bulldozer the whole thing and start over because you literally don't have a foundation. It's going to crumble to the ground. So let's get you a solid foundation today, so that I don't send you back into the world for another 3 years pouring money into this business that really is a hobby because you have no structure. You can't grow.
So
As many people wants to tell you, oh, all you need is a funnel, all you need is a lead magnet, all you need is a trigger, and you don't even know what a mission statement looks.
it's so true.
You are actually doing this. You looked at someone else's Instagram page, they were doing successful. So you said, oh, I can do that. But you don't know the hard work that they put into it for the past 15 years to
Right.
come online and start this because they've built the community of people behind them.
So true. And it always comes up to the
Yeah.
question of
So that's me
you
off my
can
hot horse.
yeah, I love it, but it's like, it's the question of you can get what other people have, but can you maintain it though? See, that's the thing that people don't see when they're looking at the highlight reel is what it takes to maintain it. So, I mean, that's just one of the things that I just love about how you really help and talk to people on stage and really help them with that. And, that is true. You have to be different. You have to be, and that loyalty and some of those values that you stand for is evident in that approach. I mean, I just know that it's like sometimes it's just like you know how to shake people and get their attention. And on a stage that really stands out because other people they don't know how to do that. And they may be just as gifted, but that is worth something. Being able to get people to be honest with themselves about their situation so that they can get better. That's impactful.
Absolutely. We tell ourselves so many lies on so many levels that and so when someone can sit and listen and unpack it really quick, because everything happens so quick on Clubhouse. And that's why I
Yeah.
always tell people I listen for understanding. I don't listen to reply to you. I listen to understand what you're saying and what you didn't say. I always tell people there's power in the pauses. There's power there.
Mhm.
And if I can figure out what you're really trying to say, but not saying, then we can get to the root of the matter. And then we can make a
Mhm.
shift. That's what I'm looking for when I'm on stage is, I'm not looking to hear myself talk because I can do that whether I'm on Clubhouse or I hear myself right now. I don't need to do that. I want to say something, and I always focus on your question, but I like the
Mhm.
questions. I know because I've had questions that someone else in the audience who hasn't gotten the courage to step up and ask yet. They're
Mhm.
the ones, sir, because you're asking questions, and that's what I think a
Mhm.
lot of people in Clubhouse. You're there asking questions. So yes, we're answering, but I'm talking to the person who hasn't found the voice. That's the question yet.
Love that. I could go on with this conversation for hours, but this has just been so wonderful. I hope people were taking notes or go back and rewatch it because you really have some great gems that you dropped for us this evening. So, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
I'm easy to reach. You can follow me on Instagram, Branding by Brandon, Facebook, Branding by Brandon. Clubhouse is Marketing 101. And then my website is brandingbybrandon.com. My office line is on the website. My email is on the website. So whatever way you're looking to communicate, I'm available. You can DM me. Please don't run a bunch of questions, and please don't hit me with, hey, jump in. I know we're having a conversation. Just jump in, pull the band-aid off so that I can be as efficient with my time and get back to you efficiently. Is all I ask.
Love that. And so, what final words would you like to leave with the viewers or people who want to start a business or marketing or anything, whatever you kind of feel led to kind of conclude the interview with?
Oh, what don't I want to say? The first thing I'll say is, and I say this often on Clubhouse, discipline outweighs passion. Everyone always asks you to follow your passion, but I always challenge people to find discipline because passion will fail you, discipline won't. So that is what I will leave people with. Find discipline because passion is fleeting.
I love that. That is some good words of wisdom. Well, this has just been so much fun, Branden. We definitely gonna have to have you come back. Okay, because I'm gonna have to get
Anytime,
some more
anytime.
I'm gonna have to get some more questions because I'm telling you, you are just I'd love to hear you at work, and maybe we can have some people come on and do some questions.
Yes,
That would be
yes,
fun so people can
absolutely.
see what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yes,
Because I just
absolutely.
love it. Okay. So thank you so much for coming on this evening. And we had a little sidebar before you came on, and you were flexible with me and my mishaps and emergencies and stuff. So I want to thank you for rearranging your schedule for you to come on tonight. So so appreciate it.
No problem. I understand life happens. Everything's moving fast, so you got to be nimble in these streets.
So true. Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. If you have any questions for Branden, feel free to follow him on all his social media platforms. If you have questions that you just kind of feel a little uneasy about, put them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this conversation, share it. Share it, share it, share it with people that can really glean from this information. So, we want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.